Hello, my name is Simon Owens, and today I want to talk about Facebook and how it's become a victim of its own massive scale. There have been a number of disturbing reports coming out of Facebook recently that you might have noticed if you read the news. There was the news that they had allowed over $100,000 in spending from Russian trolls who were trying to influence the election. There was reports a few days ago that they're actually demonetizing what they consider controversial content. They're not allowing ads to run against it, which you'd think would be maybe okay, but it's also hurting news publishers that are actually reporting on the controversial content. So if there is the Guardian or the New York Times were to report on, say, child sex trafficking or some kind of violent protests from white supremacists, Facebook won't run any ads against those articles if they appear as instant articles or eventually videos when it runs mid-roll ads on videos. So it's actually disincentivizing news companies from reporting on controversial topics. And then now we just saw a major report coming out of ProPublica, the investigative news organization, where they were actually able to buy ads on Facebook's ad platform that targeted antisemites, things like targeting people who hate Jews or think all Jews should die or who are fans of the Nazi Party. And in all these cases, Facebook doesn't deny that it's in the wrong. And like in that most recent case, they actually removed those ad categories which had been put there by an algorithm, not by a person. So they recognize that this is disturbing, and also they've been struggling with kind of the fake news problem on the platform, where people who are completely just making up and fabricating news specifically around politics. Facebook has been trying really hard to eliminate that, but while they've seen some success, it still proliferates on the platform. And all these things can be tied back to one thing: Facebook's scale. Facebook has over 2 billion members, and it is just operating at such intensive scale that in order for it to continue to be profitable, I cannot afford to hire the massive amount of human capital that would be required for them to go through and vet everything that's going through their system. There's just too much information, too many posts, too many ads that are going through their system to where they can actually vet most of this content. So they have to rely on broad-based rules and algorithms and automated systems that they can put in place. But the problem is that life has a lot of nuance to it, and there's a lot of things in between in these broad-based rules that slips through the cracks. And because of that, they're just getting caught flat-footed over and over again. And this isn't just Facebook's problem. This is Google's problem. This is Twitter's problem. When you're trying to operate at scale, when you're trying to build a tech company that isn't based on human capital, but is trying to derive basically value from automated services, that kind of human touch that you've gotten used to, over the past 20 years or the decades before the internet, it just completely is eliminated. When it comes to advertising, it used to be that every single ad that went through a TV station or on a newspaper or a magazine was 100% vetted. Ads that didn't reach their standards were completely rejected because there were actually human beings that were looking at every single one. But with Facebook or Google, when someone's buying a text ad on Google AdWords, there's just no way that like ads are being purchased at such a massive scale that there's no way that they could view every single one. Especially on Facebook, where before a publisher or an advertiser will launch a major advertising campaign, they might run hundreds or even thousands of little tiny micro ads that they're only spending $10 a piece on. Like, could you imagine the delay that these advertisers would see if they had to wait for a human to vet every single one of those ads? It would just be absolutely absurd. And so this is the same reason that brands keep finding their ads on hate sites like Breitbart, or why famous YouTubers are running into demonetization problems where YouTube is suddenly removing ads from their videos, because it has some kind of vague, controversial subject, and not knowing exactly why their videos are being demonetized. It's just that these tech companies are just having to operate at such scale that they can't be vetting every single piece of content, and it's actually starting cumulatively to hurt a lot of people in the aggregate, in the sense of there are so many people who are fit within this nuance, who fit in between the cracks, who are getting punished by these large-scale automation systems. So tech companies are just not willing to spend that human capital in order to kind of address that kind of nuance. In just these past few weeks, well, we've been seeing it for years, but it's especially coming to the head this year. We're seeing that massive scale at play, and how it can actually legitimately hurt people. Thanks for watching.